and I am just as unenthusiastic about playing this game as you would assume me to be. If you watched the last episode, you know that I'm carrying over a lot of quote-unquote momentum from my last episode, and it is doing me about as much good as Michael Jackson with a less sturdy blanket. Some of you will get that reference, and if you do get that reference, you are the people that I made YouTube videos for when I actually cared to make content. And now, the time has come to determine whether or not my suffering will end. And it will come at the hands of, for God's sakes, let's find the old unis. There you go. The away throwbacks from 2000. Because I need to be one nostalgic motherfucking slut, and it's my thing. Right. We talked about 2020 in the last episode, and that's a good point of just how terrible I have seen myself. Game time. All right. So, possibly the final episode of the series. Hopefully the final episode of the series. Most likely, not the final episode of the series. Which means I'm going to have to keep refreshing the Wikipedia page. And I'm going to have to continue to pretend like I care about what happens here. We have the ball. Oh, boy. Oh, no. That's not a thing. Playful game. Really sorry about that, guys. We missed an entire drive, but considering my torture is eternal, I'm sure it won't matter that much. Mark August. I'm really used to playing a lot of offense. Even in Madden 09, I go throughout the effort to get to the super sim option, so I can only play offense. Because I don't always have a lot of time, but when I do, I don't want to waste it. So naturally, I end up playing video games, because it's the only thing that I do that isn't work, or related to work.
And get a little bit of space and then come across the middle,
and
in their mind they're thinking catch the ball.
I don't know where to go with that. Hey, Wyatt Shea's open. Wyatt Shea caught it. You know, it's great for Wyatt Shea that he's a dependable figure in the game. Also, the way, you know, being from Connecticut and New York, that I say figure sometimes sounds like a racial slur. I'm sorry about that. I don't tend to notice it, but I promise you I'm saying figure. Apparently it sounds like figure, so blame my tone.
Catching the ball, timing it up with the quarterback.
And
are my feet going to get down inbounds?
Fucking suffer with me.
All those things going through his head.
Happy to have you. I'm not, because you just contribute to the suffering. No, I don't blame you for it. It's all my fault. 5-yard gain from Mark August on his second rush of the day. Let's talk about 2020 some more. This terrible shit year. Let's force me to literally sell part of my company to keep it afloat. It's wonderful. Just in case you're wondering, I'm not actually this depressed, but it makes for a good video, apparently. People like suffering, and I do a lot of it. So as Kingston Zennick furthers my torment, just know that I'm, you know, deep down, oh my god, fucking son of a shithead. Play the full game, for God's sakes, fuck this shit. I fucking put the option. I'll play the Bills in the Super Bowl if I make it there. That's great to know. What was I saying? I was saying something. I forgot what I was saying. Wait a minute. Didn't Aaron Rodgers play for the Seahawks last time? What the fuck is happening? Holy shit. Why is Russell Wilson playing now? This is much less easy than I thought it was going to be. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Whatever the fucking phrase is. Okay. Thomas Rawls, the eternal backup, you know, embarrasses the shit out of me. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, deep down, it's disappointing to see the series end because it was genuinely the longest running series that I was doing. And as of right now, it's the last part of what used to be my attempt at being a YouTuber to any extent. It was the final piece that I had kind of left, because after this whole series is done, I'm going to stop doing YouTube. It just ain't my thing. But I always said I would finish the series, and I want to be able to say, hey, this is the series finale of something. Ain't that something? And now I'm getting the chance to do that. But it's disappointing in the way that it's like nostalgic. And it's a goodbye to the world I once used to care about, but now desperately want to disassociate myself with. So, yeah, it's a bittersweet moment. Very bittersweet. It's like a breakup. If you had to pretend to care about that person for a long time, and if that is the case, you might be Alphonse Victor. That's a joke, in case legal matter tends to pop up. But yeah, the series it's been something. It's been filled with me yapping about life because I gotten on, and Twitter gives me the information that I need, which is about as bad as you can assume it to be. And on that note, let's talk about Trump being a pedophile, right? Well, at least it would give me a better, understanding of whether or not my core audience is more Republican or Democrat before. Not that I care now. Anybody that wants to unsubscribe, for God's sakes, do it. End this project. Let's try to anger a ton of people. Run this play first. Oh, God. Damn it, DeAndre. Now I know why Kaepernick doesn't throw it to you. What was I saying? I think it was something about pissing people off. That play I've used like a million times, and that may be the final time that I use it because I'm just playing blindly. Chance number 2, a first down, a spin move, and he gets absolutely wrecked at the 27. Fabiano's already thrown for 100 yards. Let's make it 127 right now. I dare me. Fabiano's got a better throwing motion than I remember. Why did I constantly run it? The strength was totally through the air. Oh, God. That's why my offensive line sucks ass. I remember now. Let's try to get back to the 27 so I can... I double press X. My bitch ass sucks. God damn it. Fuck it. Fappy. Oh, God.
Taken down. Mike Bennett in there to drop him, and his great season continues. 13 sacks for him now on the year.
Back to the verticals.
When you get behind the chains, as people like to say, when you have obvious passing situations,
I'm going to throw it to Guglielmo.
up and fool the defense.
And you hate those situations if you're an O-line. Touchdown.
Oh my God, I caught it myself. I'm so proud. This is the first time I've ever done something somewhat productive. 141 yards for Corey Fabiano. Good for the guy. Now, if only he could win a UFL championship. If only I could kick without the damn temptation to bounce it off the uprights like my name was Cody Parkey. A guy who I don't think lived in as much infamy in Chicago when I started this series. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain of it. I don't even think the last time wait a minute. Was the last time I released a video for the franchise mode before? I mean, okay, hold on. Let's have some context. I released an episode, the episode that came before this one, yesterday, in case you're watching on the day that this is released, which means that the last episode before that one was May of 2019, I think. Oh, simple times. We thought the world was so bad at that point in time. Little did we know. But that meant that, yeah, Cody Parkey had just doinked it. So
In the slot on the right is Graham.
So there was essentially one episode of the franchise mode. No, there were technically 62 of the episodes of the franchise mode that existed in a realm where Cody Parkey wasn't Chicago's biggest thorn in the side of the ass. Again, I missed. Weren't they so great? I miss when the worst thing we had to deal with was like Trump on a bus. And now we got to worry about Trump killing 192,000 Americans. And saying ignore science. All whilst Joe Biden somehow manages to evade the question of how do you handle the sexual misconduct allegations? Yeah, as I said, burning a lot of bridges with the audience today. I've lost all the will to care. Lee August with a return of something positive. That's great. I can't read it. 13 yards. You'd think with a budget like that and would have, they'd at least figure out a way to make the graphics readable. No. Ultimate Team comes first. Alright, this ball's going to DeAndre Wallace. Because I call out my shots now. This has turned into a game of pool. Oh, God, Corey. What the fuck was that? Holy shit! So that pass went about just as well as the maiden voyage of the Titanic. And not the good part. Leave it up to the comments to decide what I'm talking about when I refer to the good part. I think we're all familiar with it. That bitch let go regardless. 3rd down and 1. I gotta get 1 yard. Shouldn't be that difficult for Mark August, but I'm gonna march him onto the battle lines. It wasn't that difficult for Mark August. This game feels so weird when you compare it to Madden 09. It's night and day. Franchise mode has options. Though, my God, somehow the scouting reports and the draft system in Madden NFL 2009 are 10 times better than the monotonous bullshit we get here now. I mean, I had to go through all of the effort to release every fucking person we drafted. That's a lot of efforts. And all I had to do in Madden 09 was ignore them. Mark August with a touchdown. Good for Mark August, making sure I suffer into episode 66. Doink it. Doink it. Doink it, Don. Doink. Fuck. 2-score game. Seattle can win it. I don't like saying those words. It's like throwing up in my mouth and then swallowing it again, but Seattle's got a chance. Some chance.
And they will not get a chance to return this one
Block,
as it's through the end zone.
Score a touchdown. They can pick off the ball, and I definitely didn't purposefully throw with the hope of an interception happening, and we could call it a day. Even as a Niners fan, I'll admit Russell Wilson is the most underrated quarterback and underappreciated quarterback in the entirety of the NFL. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy has not had an offensive line at all in his entire career and has managed to make Ciara want to stay in Seattle for some fucking reason. It's gotta be depressing for most of the year, and that's not even because grunge existed at one point in time. And I love grunge, but I see the obvious faults in it. Seattle's just a weird place, and their fucking hockey team's gonna be called the Kraken. That's awesome. That's Kraken. Word.
And they're gonna hurry back to the line now.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think I would trust Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson as much as I would trust Russell Wilson. Even without an offensive line, he's managed to kill defenses. And they've had the goddamn golden ticket to kill him. Like, if they wanted to take him by the face mask and pull his goddamn head off, they could have. And it wasn't going to be anybody stopping him. What, you got a post-New Orleans Jimmy Graham and a couple of fucking scroungers from the NCAA Division III fucking Big Sky 2 conference blocking for him. They had all the fucking time in the world. All that they needed to do was grab him by the face mask and make sure that his head was separated from his body, and they couldn't even do that because Russell Wilson's that fucking good. And it sucks to say as a 49ers fan because I have to play him for the next 10 fucking years. And, you know, the Niners will never get the credit that they are, you know, due, and Jimmy Garoppolo will never be seen as a good quarterback, despite the fact that he abso-fucking-lutely is one.
Now we've got whistles and movement up
Because Russell
front.
Wilson
I think this
exists.
is against Seattle.
And he's consistent. Oh, shit, I forgot Mike Giampetruzzi was here. Yeah, he's also the coach of the Cincinnati Lynx. Let that sink in. And they did moderately well this year. Right, you know what I said last time. Boom! Boom! Oh my God! Are you fucking shitting me? Fuck you! Holy shit! What? I hit stick to the motherfucker, and he said no. Wow! Incredible. But payback is more.
Oh, but I didn't. It's Wilson. They set up the screen to Rawls.
Why are you running back into the field? I was giving you the open field. Take it to the house.
Thomas Rawls.
Show off. I'm going to cook and throw it all up in the air.
And the Seahawks able to make this a close game again.
Don't actually.
I think everyone in the league talks about finishing, don't they? Doesn't matter whether it's a quarter,
Pretty sure I said
half,
that
a game,
when
a
I was
series,
playing as I think the
whatever.
Rams or the
But they're
Bengals
finishing
in
the
Madden
first half
NFL
and
09.
style, putting that one in
And I
the
was
end
worried that I had
They
said it to
didn't
Cedric
leave much
Benson
time on the
because he had
clock
died
either.
recently.
Well done. So that
Time.
a 7-play,
I felt really bad.
80-yard drive. And it's Thomas Rawls who finishes it off with a
Who's
touchdown
that?
run.
Why is the entirety of the crowd dressed in white? This is the fucking Green Bay field. This is Lambeau Field. Why the fuck is everybody trenched in Seahawk gear? The fuck? Are we the Chargers all of a sudden? What happened? I get we replaced the entirety of the Packers squad with the Holy Cross squad 3 years ago, but for God's sakes, we've won multiple Super Bowls. Back to back, we got the chance to do it again. Fuck my life. How the hell?
And it forces it incomplete.
The good signal callers would never go back in the huddle.
think I
and
might
play
have
the
lost
blame game because they need those guys to protect
Not
him.
the game,
But
but
on
just
that
life.
last one, his offensive line, they lost their leverage very
I
quickly.
mean, I called it quits
And
long
that's
ago.
where
I
they
just
get
been
to
waiting
him
for the
and
world to
hit him
think
as he
it's
tried to
theirs.
throw the football and force an
Hey, it's Kingston. Holy shit, it's Kingston. It's intercepted. Yes!
Safety Cam Chancellor, and they will set up shop.
It's so bittersweet.
At the 42-yard line.
Fucking end this series.
And they're hoping to capture some of that magic they had last time out when they were able to put together
Russell,
a scoring
make
drive
me
to
pay
shut
for
down
that.
the Chargers.
Not the major concern, though, because of what you talk.
Now hold everything
That
here.
wasn't
We're gonna
making
get
me
a
pay at
timeout
all.
by the offense.
You guys
It's
paid,
just
as a
their
matter of
first,
fact,
so
with
they'll
it.
have two
An
remaining here
interception.
before
With a
we get to
timeout.
halftime.
I'm running. Oh my God, it's a screen. Oh, I saw that. Oh my God, what the hell? No, no, I said no.
Hey, that was a
Fuck
beautifully
you,
executed
Randall.
screen pass. They let
Fuck
the rushers get
you.
upfield
I
and get
said
the
no.
escorts in front,
I
meaning
said
the
let him
offensive
have a
linemen,
touchdown.
other blockers
I
out
say
in
let him
front,
have two.
completed the pass beautifully.
You
Tried to get
asshole.
all that open space, but big
Oh my God,
gap
it's a fucking
leading
screen
the way.
again.
And he just
Damn
throws
it.
this one away.
I
Smart
could have
decision here this
intercepted
close
that.
to the
I
end
saw
zone, and
that
it brings
coming,
up second
too.
down. So
That's
they're still
awesome.
at the original line of scrimmage here. Second down and 10.
That's more than I ever thought I did. Another
Again
screen.
on second and 10, it's Wilson. This will be caught at about the 6. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a
Now,
timeout here.
they're just
by
kind
the
of taking down
offense.
time, so I don't
So
do
that means
anything
they're
with it.
down to one remaining here as we head
I can't
toward
say that I blame them, but I can also tell them that I have no intention of doing any fucking thing.
Wilson. Into a double team.
It's, oh
intercepted.
God, it's intercepted.
A great read, and it's picked
And
off.
we lagged so fucking hard. Vinny Graziano.
This is why golfers do their
I
best
think he might
to
actually
never
still
count a
be
score in their head before the ball
Maybe.
goes in the cup.
Most likely not. What? What were you reviewing? I got my entire eternity into the fucking into the boundaries of this game. Madden is
They shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. Going down the middle.
caught.
It's complete.
Timeout.
Now hold
I'm going to do this all the way to the end zone. I dare this team to stop me. I don't. Oh, they did it. Yay. Good for me. Oh, that's so nice to see. And we were penalized. No, they were penalized. Okay.
And unless this is a quick incompletion, this is likely the last play here of this first half.
I picked the wrong one. All right, I'm going to play as a fucking cornerback. Nicholas Donatius, this one's for you. It's coming to you, brother.
Incomplete on the deep ball. So we've reached halftime. So this guy's just sitting there, right? He's got like
halftime.
30 hot dogs
We're
in front of him. And
I forgot.
What's that?
That's
apparently we're back. Okay, so Larry's
Strokes.
halftime show got cut off. Sorry,
All right,
we were
we've
doing
got
story
Kingston.
time here in the booth. We are
This is a
ready to
touchdown.
go
Oh.
for the third
Well,
quarter.
it would have been a touchdown if Phil Servo wasn't a jack bumbling bitch. God damn.
And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the
lead
field.
draw.
They have the lead now. They'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects.
Off the mark. Why did I run into him? That was not where I was going at all.
Things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself.
So here's what I find funny. In the time it took me to go from series premiere of the Holy Cross Crusaders franchise mode to the time where I ended it, not the expert led the UGF Pandas to the top and the DVSU Dingoes. So that's something to look at with bright-eyed and bushy-tails. Mark August scored, further extending my pain.
Increased his production in this game, and now he's over 100 yards.
And that just kind of raked the nails into it. I don't want to score. I want to get this game done. It is 12:30 in the afternoon.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. Tyler Lockett now with a return. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line.
You know, the fun thing about the quarantine, because we need to talk about that. Otherwise, I look like a madman. I already do. And I'm hungry, so the fact that I'm, you know, going to seem as though I want to tear somebody's head off is going to make me only further look like a madman, but that's all right. So my ex-girlfriend lives in the place we have. I live in the place that I have, Connecticut. Funny thing about that is that one can't be in the other without the other being in the other. I don't even know what I was trying to get at. Point is, this quarantine makes my on-again, off-again ex-girlfriend now my on-again, off-again ex-girlfriend. So that is one benefit of a terribly fucking drenched in pain and suffering existence. Listen, guys, I'm stretching for anything I can get. The quarantine is about all I have to offer. We can talk about one thing that I have yet to talk about. The 49ers made it to the Super Bowl. I think I mentioned it in passing. But the 49ers actually made it to the Super Bowl. And we almost won it. Which, you know, if you were a fan of mine, for whatever really fucking weird reason that you were, when this series started, you knew just saying 49ers and Super Bowl in the same sentence made me giddy. Because it's a genuine, nice thought. And even if we lost, I mean, at least we lost a good guy, Andy Reid, not fucking the Baltimore Ravens. You know, it's good. It's good to be good. Because we had a long time where we weren't good. We didn't even have a coach. And our owner was about as competent as, well, you know, Gus Bradley. So,
half defensive back that covers passes and half linebacker that makes tackles.
So
We just saw the linebacker
going
make
from that,
play.
Defense sinking pass.
Lamar
They got the
Jackson,
nickel set out on
he's
3rd
really
and
fun to
6.
watch, but a lot of people keep touting him as the future of the NFL, and you know, you can play this as a freezing cold take if it ever becomes a freezing cold take, but you know, here's what I find myself noticing.
Never make the mistake that
And
the
again, this
slot
hurts because I'm a
receivers,
49ers
especially
fan,
the
but
guys like we're watching here,
Russell
they're just
Wilson's
quicker
play
than fast.
style
A lot of them combine
mirrors a
quickness and
lot
speed, and they catch a lot
of
footballs, as we
Lamar
just saw
Jackson
there.
in the way that when he needs to run, he can run, and when he needs to pass, he can pass. Russell Wilson's actually won playoff games. That's a big difference. But the difference between Lamar Jackson possibly being the future of the NFL and Russell Wilson having been the future of the NFL is that Russell Wilson's play style doesn't call for him to run just because he can. It calls for him to run when he needs to, which, you know, having a middle school offensive line means almost all the time. But he knows how to slide, he knows how to protect himself, he knows when to run, and he knows where the pockets that will offer him the the safest route are going to be. Lamar Jackson doesn't slide. I don't think he knows how to protect himself. I think he's at this moment in time where he's going to feel as though he's invincible and nobody can stop him. And I'm sure the guy's humble as fuck. You don't really come from being not a millionaire to being a millionaire without being aware of how you got there. Some people choose to acknowledge how they got there, some people don't, and that's fine. You know, they do them. It's whatever. But the problem with Lamar Jackson is that Russell Wilson's play style offered him longevity as a player with the right team around him. Like, give Russell Wilson an offensive line, and that guy can play the way he plays for the rest of his career. It is not going to be long before Lamar Jackson tears his ACL. And I said this last year before this season started, and he ended up winning the MVP award. I predicted the Ravens to do absolutely awful because I didn't expect them to have Lamar Jackson. I thought he'd get hurt pretty early in the year. That's not even just me hating. That's just me being very bleak for the future. I didn't expect the guy to have a long future. He just doesn't strike me as a guy who has a play style that allows for longevity. And it's frightening because the dude's really talented, but eventually you're going to get to the point, especially now that teams have a very in-depth look at how he plays, you're going to get to the point where he's going to get his ass kicked on runs, and he's going to get his ass kicked on plays after the play has been called dead, because teams just want to hurt the motherfucker. And in general, you kind of understand as a fucking fan, because your frustration at seeing him burn your team is their frustration. The only difference is they can actually do something about it, and that's hit him. So don't be surprised when he starts running and gets his ass kicked out of bounds because the other team is tired of being made out to look like fools. And he's going to get hurt doing that. And he's also going to become very paranoid and very scared to run, because that's going to be the way that all defenses will play. It will be, don't expect to just go down or, you know, try and save your ass without falling on it first. That's going to be something that if if Lamar Jackson doesn't tighten up as a part of his game plan, you know, not kind of be the guy that defenses look at as just somebody to make them look like a fool, he's going to pay for the price for it for a long time. And it's fine to have a mobile quarterback when that mobile quarterback can throw and pick his time being mobile accurately. You can save yourself, you can slide, you can be familiar with what you're doing, with how you do it, and you're cautious to not make yourself the enemy of the defense rather than just a nuisance for them to deal with. If you can't do that, you're not going to last long in the league. And Lamar Jackson is not going to last long before he tears his ACL, loses his mobility in the process, because that's what happens when you have an injury like that. And that's almost always the case with guys that tend to run. It's always just a misstep or just a jolt in the wrong direction by a few inches that tears up that knee like it's carved turkey on Thanksgiving Day. When that happens, that mobility goes out the window. You become less likely to run, and therefore you depend on a part of your game that doesn't tend to get fine-tuned, because when you run, you don't need to throw. So your throwing isn't as fine-tuned as your running. And when you're forced to be afraid to run, you're forced to throw. And when you're forced to throw and you don't have fine-tuned mechanics to throw because you didn't have to rely on them before, you see the issue there. A lot of interceptions, a lot of costly mistakes. It's why Colin Kaepernick did so damn horribly in his final few seasons. He didn't fit into his system, and his passing game wasn't fine-tuned when his running stopped working for him. So, you know, don't believe your friends when they say otherwise. I was a Niners fan. I suffered through every single one of those games. I know exactly what I'm talking about, and it was very painful to watch, especially knowing that the dude's a nice guy, and he's genuine. He doesn't deserve that kind of thing. Not like Karen asking to speak to the manager, which, if you haven't already understood, is not something you can actually do. Not something you can just ask for. That is easy as that. But, yeah. It's going to take the route of, a Colin Kaepernick or a Michael Vick if he's not careful. I believe that Michael Vick would have torn his ACL eventually had he not gotten in trouble. It's just not something that is feasible. And it will never be something that is feasible long-term unless there are massive medical advancements that allow for that kind of thing to not end up bringing wear and tear on the body. By the time he's 32 or 33, even if he manages to stay healthy in his entire career, by the time he's 32 or 33, he'll be ready to call it a day and hang up the boots because he just can't maintain that kind of game. If running backs are retiring around the age of 30, 31, mobile quarterbacks will do the same if they aren't smart with how they play. Aren't at least the least bit cautious. 2-minute warning. We've got the lead. We've got the ball. 1 first down, and we're on to the Super Bowl. And we have a guaranteed time and place for the end of this series.
So many things to go through.
How soon it should be.
And Green Bay getting ready to go.
Now, what was I talking about before
lead,
that?
obviously late in the game. I guess the good news for them is if for some reason they would make a mistake.
I was talking about Lamar Jackson, but I didn't know what else I wanted to talk about. There's not really much to talk about when it comes to the 49ers making the Super Bowl because it's one small part of a bigger plan. Jimmy Garoppolo is a much better quarterback than he gets credit for. It's not always about being flashy. It's about winning. In his career, I believe he's either 21-5 all-time, including playoffs, or 23-5 all-time, including playoffs. And listen, you can like Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson did not win in playoff games. He had a lot of help. Jimmy had a lot of help. But you know what? If you can't make the argument for Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry, if you can't make the argument that Jimmy Garoppolo was bad or is a moderate, mediocre quarterback because, he had help and he wasn't playing, whatever, you have to make that same thing for Lamar Jackson, and even less so. Lamar Jackson didn't play in the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's never won a playoff game. Jimmy Garoppolo won 2 in his first season. First full season in a complicated offense, off of a torn ACL. And remember, that's largely the same squad, other than Nick Bosa, Dre Greenlaw, Deebo Samuel, who really was Dante Pettis the year prior. It was the same squad that he took to a 13-3 record and a Super Bowl berth that went 4-12 the year prior and put Kyle Shanahan, a guy who is now looked at as the greatest offensive mind in the NFL today, and perhaps all time for guys that have recency bias, on the hot seat, threatening to be fired. So, yeah. We're on to the Super Bowl. That's now confirmed. We know that if you're watching this episode the day that it is released, tomorrow is the series finale of the Holy Cross Crusaders franchise mode. Yippee. Almost there. But yes, as I was saying, we have only gotten better. A lot of people don't tend to realize when you are returning from a Super Bowl berth, you don't make flashy and splashy moves in the offseason. You don't sign a ton of free agents. You don't pick the best, rookies. You don't make flashy moves. Good teams don't have to make flashy moves. They have to make moves that fine-tune an offense. They're not flashy. They're effective. Browns, whenever you see guys win the free agency period, or they're the best team in free agency. You're talking about the Browns that went 6-10, 7-9. You're talking about the Redskins that never amounted to a goddamn lick. Of course, Dan Snyder, but that's the guy that won free agency time and time again. I mean, you don't prove anything winning in the offseason. If anything, signing Albert Hainsworth to a deal for the Redskins, or signing Brock Osweiler to a deal with the Texans, or signing that broomstick to play quarterback for the Jets a bunch of years ago after he won with the Steelers as a backup. That kind of thing, it's not what good teams do. Good teams don't need to win the offseason, and more often than not, teams that do win the offseason don't end up doing well the following season. It's the teams that don't do much other than fine-tune what they already had. The 49ers dropped DeForest Buckner. They got a great draft pick out of it, and they dumped a bunch of cash, and they got a much cheaper, perhaps very effective, rookie in Javon Kinlaw. They replaced Emmanuel Sanders, who was aging and was expensive, with Brandon Ayuk, who will have much more time in San Francisco than Emmanuel Sanders would have. Will play a very similar style to that of Emmanuel Sanders. With the way that we game plan, will not need to be a wide receiver one, but will be able to be effective in that position if called to be a part of it. The 49ers had a fantastic offseason. We lost a Hall of Fame offensive tackle in Joe Staley and replaced him with Trent Williams, who of course is aging, but offers us that time that we need to find a viable replacement. Mike McGlinchey is just getting better. Dre Greenlaw is only going to get better. Nick Bosa is only going to get better. Eric Armstead had a breakout year in his contract year. He's only going to get better. Javon Kinlaw is going to be great. Brandon Ayuk is going to develop nicely. Deebo Samuel, when he comes back from a broken foot, is going to be phenomenal. Dante Pettis is apparently impressing in training camp in a way that he did not before. And it's looking good. Raheem Mostert wants a lot of money, but the reason he's not outright asking for a trade or refusing to play is because he knows that the offensive system in San Francisco is just as crucial to the success that he has had in San Francisco and in this resurgence of his career as his own potential. Without the 49ers, Raheem Mostert is not as great of a running back, which is why he went from team to team to team to team to team before he became a part of the San Francisco 49ers. And asking for a trade, obviously, he's going to want more money than what he's getting, and fair. He's going to be the number one halfback on the depth chart. He should want to get paid like such. But he's not outright actively seeking a trade or else refusing to not play in the season the way that Le'Veon Bell did, because he saw how it worked with Le'Veon Bell. Raheem Mostert is great in the Niners offense because Raheem Mostert is great in the Niners offense. If Raheem Mostert was great in general, he would have spent more than 1 year on just the special teams unit in any one place. He would have been a guy talking about a contract extension, and he would have been a guy who, if asked for a trade, would have made headlines in doing so. He knows Tevin Coleman's ready to take his place. Jerick McKinnon's finally going to suit up for the Niners. It's about goddamn time. He knows there's going to be a lot of competition coming in. And he knows that this year, he's got a great opportunity to go into free agency with an upped... what was I thinking about? He's going to go into free agency next year. If he plays well this year and a great system for him to play well, he knows damn right that he's going to have a better chance at upping his stock when free agency comes next year, playing with the Niners, than he would getting traded to the Dolphins or wherever else would need him. That is the end. We are going to the Super Bowl. The next episode is going to be the series finale of the Holy Cross Crusaders franchise mode. And since I know that now, it's genuinely a little bittersweet. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe for more is what I think I used to say. I'm Zach Hardy. I'm signing off.